Getting a lifetime ban from Walmart. Warning, some audiences may find this content disturbing. View at your own discretion. Welcome to the House of Reddit. Today, we share some recent r/TodayIFuckedUp stories posted on Reddit. Getting a lifetime ban from Walmart. My friend and I are both in high school, and we've been hanging out a lot over winter break. Today we were especially bored, and I suggested going to Walmart to look around. After a little while, we got bored of that too. Then an idea hit us. In the back of my car, I have two neon yellow vests. They seemed to match the style of vest that the employees in the parking lot were wearing, so naturally we donned the vests and posed as employees. At first we went unnoticed, and mostly just walked around the store. At one point, an older woman employee asked us if we would help her move some TVs on a cart for her. We agreed, and moved the TVs from the return section to the stocking shelves in the employee-only area in the back. As we walked in, the store's manager, I think, helped us stock the TVs, at which point he noticed he had never seen either of us. Thinking quickly, we introduced ourselves as new employees and shook his hand. He was suspicious, but didn't think much of it. About 10 minutes later, we entered the stocking area once again. This time, a younger woman immediately recognized that we don't work for Walmart. She told us we need to leave immediately, and walked us straight to the exit. As I was leaving the store, a security employee ran up behind me and said something along the lines of, "You think you're funny? We got your pictures right here. Next time you come back to this store, I'll have you arrested." From there, I just got in my car and drove home. In a funny twist of events, my mom told me that I have an eye doctor's appointment at the Walmart Vision Center next week. I plan on faking illness to get out of it, so that she never finds out. Tossing a package. So this happened last week, in the midst of all the Christmas chaos. I work for one of those delivery companies that's rather well known worldwide. I should also point out that it was my coworker's fault and not mine. Anyway, I had just finished unloading my truck and was depositing my ground packages into its proper bin and taking care of my paperwork when there's a commotion coming from the front of the station. In comes marching the paramedics and fire department looking for an injured man with a name. For anonymity we will call him Jon Snow. I know, not very original or cool anymore, but with my newfound time I've invested in audiobooks. I'm already on book 4. Anyway, I tell them, "Oh, hang on, there's no injury I know of. Let me go ask my station supervisor. I know, good little worker be me." But seeing as I've been back at the station for a total of 5 minutes, I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I go back out to the loading dock shouting for my boss. "Jim. Hey Jim, the paramedics are here looking for an injured Jon Snow. Do you know anything about that?" "Jim, what? No, there's been no accident here." "Well, the shop just closed up, let's make sure there's no one in the customer area." So he leads the paramedics around the station looking for Mr. Snow. Jim proceeds to come back into the loading dock as we are in the middle of our evening sort and have 10 or so minutes to get the truck out to the ramp. Well, there's no Mr. Snow here. That's when another coworker chimes in and says, "Oh, you're looking for Mr. Jon Snow? I had a package for him I put over here." Leads the paramedics to the ground bin. "See right here, here's a package for Mr. Jon Snow." Paramedics open the package. It's a freaking life alert that was pressed, triggered or sounded when it was tossed into the bin. Paramedics, well, first time for everything I suppose. Glad no one's hurt and my supervisor is not going to believe this story. And that, my friends, is why you shouldn't throw packages. Got accused of trying to lure them with an exotic bird. This happened yesterday and I am equal parts amused and mortified. I live in a very average suburban neighborhood. Kids playing in the streets, neighbors are friendly, you get the idea. I recently bought a beat-up old pickup truck. I have a daily driver, but this truck is for Home Depot runs and the like. Personally, I love it, but I have been made aware of the effect it has on people. This will become relevant soon. A few weeks ago a tree went down at a neighbor's house right around the corner from my house. The tree company came and cut it into logs. It's been sitting on the neighbor's front lawn ever since. I have a fireplace, so I've had my eye on the wood. I figured if they're not using it, I can swing by and load it in my truck to chop up. The thing is, I've never met these neighbors. I don't know their names and I never see them outside. So I've just been sort of waiting until I happened to see somebody out front to ask about the logs. Fast forward to today. I'm driving by in my beat up old truck and I see a couple of kids coming out of the house. 2 boys, probably 10 to 12 years old. Great, I figure I'll pull over and ask if their parents are home to inquire about the wood. So I pull up on the curb. The thing is, I didn't see them until I was almost to their house, so I guess I pulled up kind of fast. Well, they must have been freaked out by my shitty pickup or my speedy maneuver or whatever because they fucking bolted the second they saw me. So now I'm in a predicament because I don't want our neighbors to see me speed up and then kids run away like I'm some kind of weirdo. So I roll down the window and say, "Hey, are your parents home? I need to ask them a question." They hear me, I think, but keep running. So now I'm sitting in my shitty truck, waiting to see how this plays out, when it occurs to me that I probably now look really creepy because I'm pulling over fast, kids are running, and I'm yelling at them. So I decide the best move is to sit outside the house for a second to think. I figure it's best to go knock on the door and see if mom or dad are home. So I do. Push the ring doorbell. I also make sure my face is on camera so I don't seem like some creep. The thing is nobody answers. I shrug and go home. Which is literally 4 houses away and forget the whole thing. Fast forward, 3 hours later, I'm cleaning up after dinner and my wife says, "Hey, there's a cop car outside by your truck." Oh no. Before I make it to the door, he knocks. Yep. You guessed it. Neighbor called to report an attempting luring of her children. Apparently they told her that a man pulled up in an old truck and said that he is parrot and asked if we wanted to see it. What I really said was, "Are your parents home?" Police officer and I had a good laugh. He went over and explained it. Neighbor feels better. Turns out I can have the logs too. Putting my mother in a VR headset. Okay, for some context, I bought an Oculus Quest 2 on launch and I've loved it ever since. Beside the Facebook privacy issues, I've been playing many games, including Job Simulator, Beat Saber, and Rec Room. I wanted to share this experience with others. Now for the story. I was at family dinner, with my 2 older brothers, their girlfriends and my parents. I took out my Quest 2, and everyone wanted to try it. We were all having fun and playing Beat Saber and Superhot, etc. Everyone except my parents. My dad didn't want to try it at all, because he knew what would happen. My mom decided to try. She puts on the headset, and I launch Job Simulator for her. So, she chooses the gourmet chef job, and tries to wash her hands in the virtual sink. Now, for those of you who don't know, Oculus headsets have this thing called a guardian boundary. Basically, a room boundary set by the player to keep them from bumping into things. However, my mom completely ignores this and slams into the entertainment center, chest first. Thankfully, neither the headset or TV broke, but my mom had obtained a somewhat fractured rib. She was in pain for a couple days, and I was constantly apologetic. Moral of the story: be aware of your surroundings in both the virtual and real world. Procrastinating on cleaning my room. I, 18 female, am a borderline hoarder. I don't have the issue of getting rid of stuff because I think I need it, I'm just a lazy person. So naturally that starts to build up over time. Now add to the fact that I have let clutter build up over the span of at least 3 to 6 years, which I'm fully aware is disgusting. I'm not proud of it. Around 2 days ago I was tasked with getting my bedroom cleaned before New Year's. Now to paint you a little picture, there was boxes of junk, dirty clothes all over, clothes spilling out of drawers, and you couldn't really see the carpet. So needless to say this wasn't going to be an easy job. As I'm cleaning, under my bed to be more specific, throwing out stuff and donating what is able to be donated, I noticed a little beetle-like bug. Now I hadn't noticed any while under the bed. It wasn't until I got out from under the bed did I notice it on my pants. Upon closer inspection it was just the shell of a big, like a cicada shell but way smaller. At first I didn't get too concerned, until I noticed a second shell stuck on my sock. Then I pull out a pink duffel-type bag from beneath my bed, a completely empty bag, and notice what I had begun to fear. A fair amount of the tiny beetle bugs were within the bag, some alive. I immediately throw out the bag and call for my mom to see if she can't identify what type of bug it was. It was thankfully not a bed bug. Eventually we came to the conclusion it must be book lice. That meant I would have to go around vacuuming everything in my room, every stuffed animal, every cloth surface, every inch of carpet, etc. It was already around 6 p.m. when this discovery was made. Around this time an online friend also informed me that it was carpet beetles. From 6 p.m. to 2 am I was vacuuming, changing sheets, vacuuming again, all while being exhausted and stressed at the added mess in my room. Later today, after getting sleep, I will have to finish decluttering and vacuum everything once again to make sure all the bugs are gone. Calling Nintendo for a refund. Today I fucked up by calling Nintendo for a refund. My little brother, 5, had been telling me he got this game and that game on the Switch for free and I was asking him now, skeptical of course. I went to go check out his account and my debit card was linked to it. I talked to him about it and told him not to do that again, delinked my card, and then proceeded to get in contact with Nintendo support via text. Over our text conversation, they told me they couldn't refund me as I had used a refund before, my one allotted refund. My stubborn self was determined to receive my $50 back, so I called the support line with my 12-digit number for my case. I got in contact with a representative and told him the situation and he said he would look into it. After a couple of minutes he informed me he had to delete my brother's account because it was in violation of COPA laws because he was 5 and had my credit card on it and was making purchases. In a panic I told him he didn't and he told me that it had to be done and that all the saved data will be deleted from his 20 games. I was heartbroken. Me and my brother spent day in and day out playing the Switch for the past year. I spent numerous hours every day playing with them, whether it be outside, with his toys, Roblox, phone apps, the Nintendo Switch, etc. I tried calling back to fix it and got in touch with more representatives and they both told me that the account had to be deleted. I was in tears. I knew my little brother is going to be devastated in the next couple days as they said that they will do the deleting in 48 hours. There is no way to transfer saved data from profile to profile. It's going to be so hard to tell him that all he has worked for and all that we did together is now gone permanently. I fucked up. I feel so bad. I'm crying typing this. That kid has so much of my heart and I never ever want to hurt him. I feel so bad. So bad. I hope everything will be alright. Everything happens for a reason, but this hurts me and I can only imagine how much he's gonna be hurt. Why would they let us set up the account saying he's 5, 4 at the time, and let us put a credit card on it? If they're saying that's illegal, why don't they just prevent it from the start so this doesn't happen to anyone's kids/siblings again? Uck. Thank you all for listening. Please have a good day and God bless. Giving the wrong card number to an Obamacare scammer. Obligatory not today but rather earlier this month. This is kind of like a bittersweet tale of two fuck-ups in one that cancel each other out, and I come away unscathed but having learned an important lesson about online security. So, back before open enrollment started on November 1st, I started looking for an estimate for Obamacare health insurance plans. I'm a broke full-time college student that lives on my own, and my stepdad lost his job in February. I didn't know about the special life event enrollment period at that point. I googled Obamacare insurance quotes, and I clicked on one of the first sites that came up. The website was like, "Hey, do you want a quick Obamacare quote?" I figured, why not, and plugged in my info. It was mostly stuff like my age, pre-existing conditions, and annual taxable income. The site basically told me that if I applied for Obamacare, I'd have insurance plans available for about $60 per month, with affordable co-pays and lowish deductibles. I thought, okay, cool. I'll make sure to come back to this during open enrollment. I have terrible ADHD and executive dysfunction, and I procrastinated the application until the last day. So, on December 15th, I went to go fill out an application. I was not fully aware that all Obamacare proceedings are handled by marketplace.gov, and I clicked on the site from earlier because the link was still purple. I filled out my information again, and I was told to call a number on the screen. I did, and I was met with a lady named Jasmine who claimed to be from something like a healthcare committee. I asked if she was connected to the ACA, and she told me yes. Jasmine tells me about a plan that costs about $263 per month for somewhat affordable copays, and it only has an emergency room deductible. I start asking some questions, trying to explain my financial situation and how I couldn't really afford the plan. She tells me she would need $493 that day, or I wouldn't have health insurance. I politely tell her I didn't have that much money to spare right now, and I hang up. Over the next half hour, I start receiving dozens of calls from numbers all across the country. One calls me from the same number as the one I called earlier, and I pick up. It was a young guy, and he told me about a plan that would be $180 per month, almost no copays, and a $1,000 deductible. I'd only need to pay $60 that night. I figured that was a way better deal than before, and I agreed to buy the product. He asks for my card number to pay the enrollment fee to reserve my spot. I pull out a card, give him the number, and I keep the card in my hands just in case. He told me another agent would be in touch with some documents I need to sign. I speak with her, sign the documents while on the phone with her, and the call ends. Now for the fuck up, as I put it back in my wallet, I realized I gave him the number to a card that currently has $0 in it. Luckily, it didn't have an overdraft option, the payment just wouldn't go through. I tried calling them, but I was met with their out-of-office message. They email me about an hour later about this, and the email was incredibly fishy. It was like I suddenly noticed all of the red flags I missed and alarm bells were ringing in my head. I showed my partner, and they immediately noticed how obvious of a scam it was. I froze the card, applied for a new one, and I have kept that account empty. I even reported the number and website to the FTC. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please let us know in the comments below. Turn on the notifications to know when we post new videos. Thank you for coming to the House of Reddit.